Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to show my Zane bossing spec. Now, disclaimer, I use a different build 95% of the time, which I am going to make a video on. However, when it comes to bossing, I'll often respec to this one, since it kills them a little bit quicker, in a similar amount of time to the other characters, and that's what's important, since people seem to think that Zane's damage output is terrible, and even though he's buffed, his buffs don't do anything for his bossing. Zane is just good, and some people seem to miss that, and I don't know why. So, I'll quickly just run through the build and spec, and then I'll show a bunch of Graveward kills with a bunch of different modifiers, and then I will show a neutral kill of the final boss at the very end. And it's a perfect rotation, no big flashy attacks under a minute. You get the idea. So, for guns, shocker, we're using a Leuda. This was buffed for some reason, and now it's a DPS monster. Also, Gutsman, this was also buffed for some reason. It's a DPS monster. Those are the two main guns that I use depending on the modifiers that I happen to roll with for that particular run. You can get a Leuda from 0 by doing the Target of Opportunity challenges, so if you do all of those you get a free Leuda. Mine aren't even perfect, I'd like a fire one, but it doesn't matter, non-elemental is fine, it's a Leuda. As for shield, doesn't matter, I use a rerouter because it came with a really shiny anointment and a rerouter is damage. However, doesn't matter. Use a shield so you don't die. Grenade, we're not using them for boss fights, don't worry about them. As for relic, mag size is the most important thing, followed by that elemental projector relics, which, those are the ones that if you're suffering from an elemental effect, you do more damage with that element. They're great. I don't have the means of using them on this particular Zane, but they're great. Mag size though, very important, much easier to get of course. Side speed, not as important for boss fights, but I know everyone loves them. The mag size is, however, more important for bossing. Class mod, Executor. Mine's got +5 playing dirty, it's only for the first 5 shots, and we're firing a lot more than 5 shots. But I do tend to rotate between them just to see a difference, and that honestly isn't much of one, as long as it is an Executor. Other class mods, if you don't have this, Rabble Rouse is pretty good, +5 into Synchronicity, and Synchronicity is active, and it's a very nice damage bonus. Just a class mod that gives you mag size and any kind of gun damage skill. Remember, this is a boss spec, so it doesn't need to be practical. As long as we're able to put damage on a boss, that is fine. And yeah, that's pretty much the class mod. Or the gear, rather. Moving on to the skills, so I'll start with Green Tree. I use Barrier because, I use Barrier and Digiclone because their cooldowns and durations are very similar, especially since we're running bonuses, say on our Anointed Shield and Adrenaline. So I can activate these pretty much at the same time, which is great for maximum synchronicity, or just one straight after another, which is great for playing dirty. You get the idea. Shorter cooldowns, more seeing red activations, and they tend to be active throughout an entire Graveward kill anyway. Now, if you happen to have Anointed's the bonus Sentinel, you can rock it. I wouldn't recommend it for longer fights, such as the final boss. However, for a kill like Graveward, who dies in about 5 seconds, of course, this will be fine to use as well if your Anointed's lean towards Sentinel. Gear dependent. It's Borderlands. There is no best. It all depends. Anyway, Adrenaline, Action Skill Rate, already covered that. Ready for Action, it's the best other skill here, and it's great if using an Amp Shield. So, are ready for action, and that gives us Confident Competence. Now, full disclaimer, the clips in this don't use Confident Competence. I used to run 3 in Ready for Action, and then I used to go down to Quick Breather, and 2 more points in Donnybrook. This worked out to be more DPS by a very teeny tiny amount, so the kills will basically be identical, but this is my newer spec that I'm now going to be using. As for augments, these won't really do much for you. None of the augments do much for you, but these were the best 2 that were available, and hell, it's reload speed, less time spent shooting, less time spent reloading, more time spent shooting, of course. Now, of course, Orange Tree, mag size, as I just said, more time spent shooting, less time spent reloading. Synchronicity, our action skills are up, most of the time we're doing damage, it's free damage, 40% total, 20% per action skill, great skill, get it. And then Donnybrook, more damage, again. It's damage. And then the Blue Tree. Now, the first row doesn't really matter. I just went 1 point in Violent Speed and 4 points in Violent Momentum because I felt like it. Now, apparently Violent Momentum has a soft cap, diminishing returns, no reason to go 5 out of 5. I don't truly understand how it works, but I see gun damage on the card, so I spec'd into it. I'm not really swapping weapons in boss fights, so... Use these to get to the next tier is what I'm saying. Salvation keeps us alive, allows us to ignore attacks since we can heal right through them. Cool hand reload speed. Less time spent reloading, more time spent shooting. Death follows close, our action skills now last 15 seconds and are also better. Now, this thing's got a cooldown of 24 seconds. Further reduced by adrenaline, our guardian rank, and my anointed rereader. Our kill skills are active pretty much 24/7 nearly. It's great. Violent violence, fire rate, playing dirty, a few extra projectiles in the first few shots, it's great. And of course seeing red. Now most of the characters can kill a boss before the ad spawn, especially Graveward, so we want to keep up with that, and the only way to do that is through seeing red to automatically activate our kill skills without having to wait for those ads. So it was a no-brainer. I know, double barrel, it's tempting, 20% gun damage, but the duration on this isn't much. You have to basically keep swapping from what I've heard, and 20%, I'd rather just activate my kill skills immediately and get way more than that from my kill skills. Yeah, and that wraps up the spec pretty much. My guardian rank, if you're curious, I cap myself off at 75 per tree. Don't go further. Personally, I don't want to make the game too easy. That's what happened with Badass rank, and I played with them permanently off. I'd like that to not happen again, since some of these skills are kind of shiny. Like aiming down sight. I'd rather not turn those off. Not like we have a button to do so. Please. Gearbox. Anyway, that's the spec. Enjoy the kills. I've got a bunch of Graveward ones with a bunch of different modifiers, and then I've got a final boss kill at the very end, which is one of those smooth rotations, sub 1 minute. It's not quite as quick as my Amara one that I uploaded last week, but it's quick enough. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Throw in the barrier! Try and get through this! Nothing like cover when you're getting shot at. This can't be how you saw this going. Tossing barrier! Throwing the barrier! You got a death wish?